Occasionally, there's going to be an anime so infamous that regardless of whether it's seen as good or bad, it leaves an indelible impact. Akame ga Kill, Shield Hero, Mushoku Tensei, or the Future Diary, it not only made yandere a common term in weeb lexicon, but it also made an interesting lead in a certain trash subgenre. It's funny because the show itself, in my opinion anyway, is perfectly fine. It's just a swath of gore, messy writing, and shock value that is almost artistic in how unbridled it is. To me, it's a prime example of the type of show I want it to be, and there's something impressive about that alone. A loner named Yuki writes in his cell phone diary every day and does the typical loner protagonist stuff. However, one day, he discovers that one entry's been filled with the day's events before the day even starts, which proceed to come true. Eventually meeting up with God like their BFFs, he quickly takes to the new oracle with delight. That is until a certain pink-haired stalker named Yosei begins hanging with him with the pretext of keeping him safe from 11 other future diary holders, who aim to be the last one standing. You see, whoever manages to outlive everyone else with their diary intact will succeed in becoming God. So it's a battle royale between the fearful Yuki, the obsessive girl Yuno, and the enemies who seek to make the future their own. How will it all play out in the long run? I don't know. You tell me. So, when you bring up Future Diary to people, there are 3 responses prompted from its reputation. 1. The Future Diary. I love that show. It has such great animation and a cool concept. 2. The Future Diary. That show sucks. It's nothing but an edgy gore fest with lame twists that hide the fact that the plot's a big mess. Or 3. The Future Diary. Oh yeah, the show with Yosei in it. And it may be odd to say, but I think all 3 of those observations are legitimate stances to have, all at the same time. It's not easy to pinpoint whether Future Diary is actually a good show because, for as intriguing the plot is or memorable the characters are, they are hodgepodged into a fantastical clutter of mixed ideas and writing. Starting off with the good, it is fun. It's a batshit crazy time, surrounded in the essence of what makes a fun story. A ridiculous but kinda primal philosophical setup, insane left turns in the character writing and motives, and actual top-notch animation where it counts. There is something of substance here, perhaps in the quality of junk food, but junk food with a slice of fruit here and there. In this, it's the prime example for the type of show it would semi-popularize. The edgy death game genre. It's not the first, but it certainly is the most notable, with successive shows trying to emulate a fraction of what made this show so unique. That being an actual fleshed out cast. The competitors are some of the most interesting characters to come from this genre, which is a low bar, but I digress. They have personalities and not gimmicks, for the most part. They have histories and desires, and they very much come off more three-dimensional the more you look into them. They're not bad, but they can only help the show so much. The downsides to the anime are pretty standard for the genre, which may even hinder it more so than its peers. It's incredibly edgy, and if that's not your style, it's cringy. And the edge comes often from the sheer brutality of some of the deaths, as well as those twists which, while fun, aren't particularly good narratively. Some of them are fine, but a good portion of them are there for shock value, and while they aren't bad, they're not integrated well like in Steins Gate or something, so it makes the storyboarding a bit clunky. In turn, it does show cracks in the overall story, being somewhat hard to keep up with all the events going on top of generally navigating the pacing of death and destruction. For those reasons, the edgy try-hard attitude, the train wreck of a set narrative, and the imbalance of certain elements, it would be hard to recommend for a casual watch. That is, if it wasn't for one particular crazy, and she brings it all the way back to the very first positive point I stated. Yosei is the best character in this show. She's insane, she's unhinged, she is not well. She's incredibly fun. She actually represents the show perfectly in a one-to-one. Her writing and actions are beyond gory fanservice and not that well written, but she's unmistakably memorable for the freedom of her expression in her methodology, much like this show itself. For as unrealistic as she's written, basically a hyperbolized caricature of a stalker, she sticks out in that she will never leave your sight. You don't know what she'll do, you don't know what she feels, and there's a constant mystery surrounding her. She knows what she needs to know, and will use that info in the creepiest of ways if it means helping her darling Yuki. She's the reason why yandere is a common term in weeb vernacular. While there's plenty of tsunderes who reject affection the same way, and plenty of danderes who don't emote the same way, there's really only one Yuno-gasai, despite many other yanderes trying to follow in her bloody footprints. So with that, it really is something I'd recommend. I can't guarantee you'll love it. Like I said, there are a good number of hurdles to jump to grasp the full momentum of the show, but it is a marathon while holding scissors. Quick, dangerous, and organized by psychos, and you kinda want to see how that goes. I wouldn't enter it for a casual run, there is a lot to keep up with, but with Yuno in the center of it all, closely following her lead may not be such a bad entry. But maybe not too close.